The 1970s were a challenging time for Britain's car industry. Inflation was rising, fuel prices were climbing, and competition from Europe and Japan was becoming stronger every year. British manufacturers were still producing stylish cars with plenty of character, but they were now under pressure to build vehicles that matched the quality and reliability of their overseas rivals. Many new models arrived with big promises. They featured modern styling, advanced engineering, or ambitious new ideas that were expected to secure Britain's place at the top of the automotive world. Advertisements praised them, magazines built excitement around them, and thousands of buyers placed their trust in these new cars. But once they reached customers, reality often told a different story. Poor build quality, rush production, mechanical faults, and outdated engineering prevented many of these vehicles from becoming the success their makers had hoped for. That doesn't mean every one of these cars was completely bad. Some were comfortable, some handled well, others introduced clever ideas that were ahead of their time. Unfortunately, their problems became impossible to ignore, and many failed to live up to the enormous expectations surrounding them. Today, we're counting down 10 British cars from the 1970s that promised so much but ultimately failed to live up to the hype. Let's begin with number 10. Number 10, Austin 3-liter. Our countdown begins with the Austin 3-liter. Introduced in 1967 by the British Motor Corporation, the Austin 3-liter remained on sale into the early 1970s. It was designed to compete with executive cars from Rover and Ford while offering buyers a comfortable luxury saloon. Its styling, however, was already looking old-fashioned by the time it reached showrooms. The large body borrowed much of its structure from the Austin 1800, making the proportions appear awkward for an executive car. Power came from a 3.0-liter straight-six engine that delivered smooth performance rather than high speed. It was quiet and capable of relaxed motorway cruising. Inside, buyers found generous seating, plenty of space, and a comfortable driving position. The cabin was practical and aimed at long-distance comfort rather than sporting appeal. Many customers appreciated the smooth ride and roomy interior. On paper, it seemed like an excellent executive car, but expectations were much higher. The styling failed to impress, sales remained disappointing, and the car struggled against more modern competitors like the Rover P5 and Ford Zodiac. Instead of becoming Britain's next great luxury saloon, it quietly disappeared from the market after only a few years. Number 9, Chrysler Avenger. Next comes the Chrysler Avenger. Introduced in 1970 by the Roots Group, shortly after Chrysler had taken control of the company, the Avenger was intended to be a thoroughly modern family car capable of competing with the Ford Escort and Vauxhall Viva. It featured a choice of economical four-cylinder engines that offered respectable everyday performance and low running costs. The interior was simple and practical, giving families good visibility and reasonable passenger space without unnecessary luxury. When it first arrived, buyers liked its comfortable handling, easy driving manners, and attractive styling. Early sales were encouraging, and many believed Chrysler finally had a serious competitor. Unfortunately, serious corrosion became one of the Avenger's biggest weaknesses. Many cars developed rust far earlier than expected, particularly in the body structure. Build quality also varied from one car to another. Although the Avenger sold in respectable numbers, it never achieved the long-term reputation Chrysler had hoped for. Stronger competition and changing ownership within Chrysler Europe eventually pushed it into the background. Number 8, Vauxhall Ventura. At number 8 is the Vauxhall Ventura. Built by Vauxhall, the Ventura was introduced as a company's executive flagship. It was based on the Victor but featured a larger engine and additional luxury equipment to attract professional buyers. Under the bonnet sat a smooth 3.3-liter straight-six engine. It delivered relaxed performance that suited long-distance travel rather than spirited driving. Inside, the Ventura offered comfortable seating, wood-style trim, thick carpeting, and generous cabin space. It provided many of the features buyers expected from an executive saloon. Customers appreciated its refinement, smooth ride, and affordable price compared with more expensive luxury cars. However, the Ventura carried extra weight, reducing both performance and fuel economy. Rust protection also proved inadequate, and corrosion became a common problem as the cars aged. At the same time, imported executive cars from Germany offered better engineering, stronger reliability, and a more prestigious image. The Ventura simply couldn't compete for long. Today, It remains one of Vauxhall's most interesting executive cars, even if it never achieved lasting success. Number 7. Reliant Robin. The seventh car is the Reliant Robin. Introduced in 1973 by Reliant Motors, the Robin was designed with one main goal: affordable motoring. Thanks to its three-wheel layout, owners in Britain benefited from lower taxation and reduced running costs. Power came from a small four-cylinder engine that provided enough performance for everyday driving while remaining economical. The cabin was basic but surprisingly spacious considering the car's compact size. Large windows also gave excellent visibility. Many buyers liked its low purchase price, inexpensive maintenance, and excellent fuel economy during a decade affected by rising fuel prices. But the Robin's three-wheel layout quickly became its most famous characteristic. Although it met legal safety standards and was not as unstable as television comedy often suggested, its unusual design gave many drivers less confidence in conventional four-wheel cars. Public perception eventually overshadowed its practical advantages. Instead of being remembered as an economical solution, the Robin became one of Britain's most frequently joked about vehicles. Number 6. Triumph TR7. Number 6 belongs to the Triumph TR7. Launched in 1975 by Triumph, the TR7 was expected to modernize the company's famous sports car range. Its sharp, wedge-shaped styling looked dramatically different from earlier Triumph Roadsters and attracted enormous attention when first revealed. Power came from a 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine designed for everyday usability rather than outright sports car performance. Inside, the dashboard reflected the modern design theme, with a functional layout and supportive seats intended to improve comfort over earlier Triumph models. Many buyers admired its futuristic appearance and practical driving position. It looked unlike almost anything else on the road. Unfortunately, early production at Triumph's Peak factories suffered from inconsistent build quality. Electrical faults, poor assembly standards, and reliability problems damaged the car's reputation almost immediately. The styling also divided opinion. Some loved its bold wedge shape, while others preferred the more traditional appearance of earlier Triumph sports cars. Although later examples improved considerably, the TR7 never fully escaped the reputation created by those difficult early years. Number 5. Jensen Healey. At number 5 is the Jensen Healey. Introduced in 1972 by Jensen Motors, the Jensen Healey was created as a modern British sports car that could compete with rivals from Europe and America. It combined attractive styling with a brand-new Lotus-designed engine, raising expectations from the very beginning. Under the bonnet was a 2.0-liter Lotus twin-cam four-cylinder engine. On paper, it offered impressive performance for its size and gave the car far more power than many competitors. Inside, the cabin was simple and driver-focused. The seats were comfortable enough for long journeys, and the controls were easy to reach. While it wasn't luxurious, it had everything expected from a sports car of the period. Early reviews praised the car's handling and lively performance. Buyers liked its open-top driving experience and the advanced engine, believing it could become one of Britain's finest sports cars. Unfortunately, the first production cars suffered from reliability problems. Oil leaks became common, timing chain issues affected some engines, and build quality varied considerably. These problems damaged customer confidence at a time when Japanese sports cars were earning a reputation for dependability. The Jensen Healey had plenty of potential, but reliability concerns prevented it from achieving the success many had predicted. Number 4. Austin Maxi. Taking fourth place is the Austin Maxi. Introduced by British Leyland in 1969, the Maxi remained an important part of the company's range throughout the 1970s. It was one of Britain's first modern five-door hatchbacks, offering practicality that many rivals had yet to match. Power came from four-cylinder engines designed to provide economical everyday driving rather than exciting performance. The interior was spacious and versatile. Folding rear seats gave the Maxi impressive carrying capacity, making it one of the most practical family cars available at the time. Buyers appreciated its roomy cabin, comfortable ride, and innovative hatchback design. It also featured a 5-speed manual gearbox, something still unusual in family cars during the early 1970s. However, the early gear linkage received heavy criticism for feeling vague and awkward to operate. Interior quality also disappointed many owners, while inconsistent assembly standards affected reliability. The Maxi introduced several ideas that later became common across the industry, but poor execution stopped it from becoming the success British Leyland had hoped for. Number 3. Triumph Stag. The third car on our list is the Triumph Stag. Introduced in 1970 by Triumph, the Stag was designed to become Britain's answer to premium grand touring convertibles. Styled by the famous Italian designer Giovanni Michelotti, it combined elegant looks with comfortable long-distance touring. Power came from Triumph's own 3.0-liter V8 engine. It promised smooth performance and effortless cruising, making it ideal for relaxed driving. Inside, the Stag featured comfortable seats, attractive wood trim, and a well-designed cabin that felt more luxurious than many sports cars of the period. Buyers immediately fell in love with its stylish appearance and open-top driving experience. It looked every bit the sophisticated Grand Tourer. Sadly, engine reliability became its greatest weakness. Cooling system problems often led to overheating, and poor maintenance only made matters worse. As stories of mechanical failure spread, the Stag's reputation suffered badly. Today, well-maintained examples can be reliable classics, but during the 1970s, its mechanical problems prevented it from living up to the enormous expectations surrounding its launch. Number 2. Morris Marina. At number 2 is the Morris Marina. Launched in 1971 by Morris, the Marina was created to challenge the hugely successful Ford Cortina. British Leyland needed a strong competitor in the family car market, and expectations were extremely high. The Marina used a range of four-cylinder engines that offered reasonable fuel economy and straightforward maintenance. Inside, the car featured a simple dashboard, comfortable seating, and plenty of room for everyday family use. It was designed to be practical rather than luxurious. Many customers liked its familiar layout, affordable price, and easy servicing. Initial sales were strong, proving there was real demand for the car. But motoring journalists quickly criticized its outdated engineering. The front suspension design, borrowed from the older Morris Minor, limited its handling compared with newer competitors. Build quality also varied considerably, while rust became another common complaint. Although the Marina sold in large numbers, it never earned the respect that British Leyland had hoped for. Today, it is often remembered as one of the company's biggest missed opportunities. Number 1. Austin Allegro. And finally, at number 1 is the Austin Allegro. Introduced in 1973 by British Leyland, the Allegro arrived with enormous expectations. It was intended to replace the successful Austin 1100 and become one of Britain's most modern family cars. Power came from a range of four-cylinder engines designed to provide economical performance for everyday driving. Inside, the Allegro offered comfortable seats and a surprisingly spacious cabin for its size. Early models also featured the unusual Quartic steering wheel, which British Leyland believed would improve visibility of the instruments. However, the design proved unpopular and was later replaced with a conventional round wheel. Many buyers initially appreciated the comfortable high-degree suspension and compact dimensions, making the Allegro easy to drive around town. Unfortunately, poor build quality quickly overshadowed its strengths. Rust protection was weak, panel gaps varied from car to car, and reliability problems frustrated many owners. Although later versions improved, the damage to its reputation had already been done. Instead of becoming Britain's next great family car, the Allegro became one of the most criticized vehicles of its generation and remains one of the best-known examples of British Leyland's difficult years. The British car industry of the 1970s was full of ambition. Engineers introduced new ideas, designers created bold shapes, and manufacturers genuinely believed these cars could compete with the best in the world. Some offered advanced suspension, others introduced practical features ahead of their time, and many were attractive cars with plenty of character. But production problems, inconsistent quality, and growing international competition prevented them from achieving the success their makers had imagined. Despite their shortcomings, these cars remain an important part of British motoring history. They remind us that innovation alone is not enough. Reliability, quality, and careful engineering are just as important. Today, many of these once criticized cars have become fascinating classics, appreciated not because they were perfect, but because they tell the story of one of the most challenging periods in Britain's automotive history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next countdown.